Hey there, guys, gals, and non binary pals. My name is Noah. This is your captain speaking, and this isn't hourly. Today we're doing yet another commission for my friend Kay of a Goatlings character of hers, so let's get right into it. This one I started out with a undersketch for before I started timing, just because I thought that an hour was not long enough to do exactly what I wanted to do, which was to create at least somewhat of a background. The character description that she had for him was pretty descriptive, and I had a really good picture in mind of what I wanted to do, and I didn't think that I could do it exactly in an hour, so I did a really quick, really loose undersketch before I started. Um, I am not good enough at video editing yet to edit out all these bits where I'm like looking at references of the character or changing the music on my playlist. So bear with me on that one. I'm still learning how to do video editing and voice editing and stuff like that. All right, getting this stuff all sketched in here. So this character is like a magician, and he's learning magic and stuff. So we got like this cool magic orb up there. I was gonna play with some lighting effects when I color it. And he's like very studious, also. I thought he was he's like his description was pretty cute, and I had a really specific thing in mind here, and I captured it okay. Um, Obviously, if I spent more time, maybe I would expand on the background a little bit. And once we get to coloring, you'll see I kind of it's very painty, which is not usually a style that I do. But if you're going quickly, then it's sort of a style that you have to use somewhat. Get that hand in here. Hands are extremely difficult for me, but the last year or so, I've gotten a lot better at them. Which, I mean, thank God, am I right? Everybody hates drawing hands. I'm still not happy with how the tail turned out. I couldn't figure out how exactly to do that under the clothes here. I'm very bad at drawing people sitting. That's definitely something that I need to practice. And I mean, who knows how to draw a hand holding a pencil? Am I right? There's an example of one of the really great things about vectors is being able to like kind of like wiggle them and move them. So you draw, a couple lines and you go, oh, that's not straight, and you can just really quick move that around. Or just use the straight line tool. Getting our big old book in here. So we add something to the foreground like that. I don't often draw like whole scenes. Usually I just draw people, standing in space, because most of what I do is character portraits, here's a picture of my Dungeons and Dragons character, that kind of thing, character design, character portraits, that kind of stuff. And so I don't often do environments, and it is definitely something that I need to practice. So, I really need to try to push myself with that. And with this one, I decided to take a stab at, doing something. Getting some line thickness in so that the lines create some depth. Get our colors blocked in for the background. I say environment, but there's not really like any set place that he is except for at this table. Get some texture. Especially if you're doing something like this, which ends up being fairly undefined, having a lot of like at least interesting textures is important, I find. Here's just trying to find the right colors for these effects that I'm trying to create, these lighting effects. checking out some color references. I don't usually eyedrop colors very often. I usually just eyeball it, unless people are very specific about their color palette. But he's just kind of a light gray with some light gray hair, so not anything too serious here. Get some nice little gradients in there for his ears. So he's from like a pet site called Goatlings, I guess, as far as what I know from friend K. I don't know what that is, so if any of you are a fan of Goatlings, that's cool. It's like a pet site where you like breed goats or something. I don't really know. I like goats. I do flight rising, but not very seriously. I just kind of go feed my dragons every couple days, sometimes breed them, sometimes look at new skins and stuff. Like my boyfriend has all these like breeding projects and like stuff he's trying to get, and you know, all these dragons that he really likes, and I'm just kind of like, eh. I mean, I think it's cool. I just don't have the patience, the attention span, I guess. Another thing that I find important when you're doing stuff like this is to like choose a color palette and kind of stick with it. So like not making everything different colors unless you're doing a lot of things. Like if I was doing, you know, a whole bunch of different books, of course I would do them all different colors, but I'm only doing one book here, and then there's this one part of the chair that I wanted a different color, and so like doing those two things the same color kind of brings them into the same environment and doesn't make it look like discordant. Like of course in real life everything is different colors. Like nothing is the same color in real life, but in art we can make things look nicer. And then blocking and shading really fast. So basically just shoving a whole bunch of dark color where I know dark color needs to be, because we have our light source and it's very harsh. And then pulling out our highlights. So the idea is he's in a very dark room with this one source of light. So we want everything to be mostly dark and then the light parts to be pretty light. And so the highlights need to be like pretty rigid and bright, and the dark parts need to be pretty dark. And like everything needs to be sort of muted except for that which is highlighted. I like playing with colored lighting, and I hardly ever do it, so that was a good exercise for me on this one as well, is to make sure everything kind of got like a gold light, and that everything got like some textures and stuff in there. It ended up looking a lot like the coloring style of another one of our friends, which I thought was interesting. Some shadows, and then coloring our line art. I think coloring line art adds so much, and if you don't color your line art, you should definitely try it. Even just a couple shades off black, you know, into a color that meshes with your image, it really helps. I find like brown, red, and blue are good ones. I don't know if I've ever done green line art. I don't know what that would look like. Getting some darker shadows in. Some more specific stuff besides just, you know, those big shadows. And especially on the face, since it's like the focal point of the drawing. And really, you know, you're just building it up until it looks right. You know, if you want to stop early and not do quite all of this work, I mean, you can, but the longer you go, generally, you know, fixing this and that, the better it looks. So when you have an hour, that's how long you have, and you get that much time to make it look as right as possible. And I think we did an okay job. So that's it for me on this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Do that like and subscribe thing, I guess. I don't have very many subscribers, and I'm really trying to make this YouTube thing pop off. So if you have any suggestions or, you know, anything you'd like to see me draw, let me know. And I'll see y'all next Thursday. Oh, I need a cool catchphrase. Bye.